Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Gene.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Sunday, May 19th, 2024. Did you do the crossword?
I did do the crossword.
And did you doze off while doing it?
No, but I probably should have, given the theme.
Yep. Titled Hold Your Doze.
Hold your doze. Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm glad to hear you didn't nod off.
No, I liked it. I thought it was a fun puzzle.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I presume you did it fairly expeditiously?
I did, a little faster than I usually do. I had it done in 42:50. About 43 minutes.
I did just about that except for the extra hour.
Oh,
An hour and 40 minutes and 29 seconds.
Oh. Did the theme do you in, or?
Well, there was a nadic that I didn't recognize as a nadic. As a nadic, excuse me. And by the way, for those of you who are new listeners, nadic refers to a phenomenon in which you don't know the answer to a word going across, and there's a crossing word, and you don't know the answer to that either. But in my case, it relates to the theme. So why don't you talk about the theme, and then I'll sort of explain where things went awry for me.
Okay. Well, the theme, as we said, the name of the puzzle was Hold Your Doze, which if you changed one letter in that, would be a common phrase, hold your nose. But it was hold your doze. And that was a key to the theme because the answers to the themed clues were common phrases, except one of the words had a D replacing the first letter. So the first one was 26 across. If that missing house title ever does show up, and the answer to that was, should the deed arise, instead of should the need arise, should the deed arise. The next one was 43 across, and that was question from somebody with a lot of outstanding debt, and that was what else is due, instead of what else is new. Mm-hmm. And you probably are seeing a pattern here. I'll do one more. 57 across was teacher's instruction in a class on pointillism, and that was do as I say, dot as I do, instead of not as I do.
Got it.
And so you can see that the D's are replacing N's in each one of these phrases. Should the need arise? Should the deed arise? What else is new? What else is due? Do as I say, not as I do. Do as I say, dot as I do. So that essentially is the theme. The D replaces the N. And sometimes it actually changes the spelling of the word because new and do rhyme, but they are not spelled the same way.
Right.
Okay. And the next one was 80 across, which was stevedore's complaint. And that was, it's a hard dock life. And there it was actually replacing a K and an N. And then we had 92 across, which was no need to find a professional illustrator. And the answer was use your doodle instead of your noodle.
Right. And
then finally 110 across, which was a tour guide's remark at the challah factory. And that was, that's a dough-braider.
Right.
So it actually replaced two N's there. It's a no-brainer. That's a dough-braider.
See, and that's why that was nearly my Waterloo.
Oh, really?
Because I read that and I thought, oh, it's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. And so I had D-O-U-G-H, dough-brainer, B-R-A-I-N-E-R. Mm-hmm. Why are they replacing two D's there? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, two N's with, well, okay, I guess I understand why they're doing that.
Because challah is a braided dough, braided loaf.
Yes, but I thought the rule was you were supposed to replace an N with a D, and you have to do, but that's the only one where you have to do it twice, right?
Right.
And for those of us who are unfamiliar with 107 Down, the national dish of the Philippines,
Adobo.
fine. Isn't that some sort of a mortar that they use in building buildings?
That's Adobe.
Adobo. Anyways, I thought it was adobo, and I was fine with adobo as being the national dish of the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
And if there are any people from the Philippines listening to this podcast, first of all, welcome. And have you ever tried any adobo, or does that not go well with adobo? I don't know. Anyway, the point is, I've been in situations like this before. I went through this crossword, and I could tell you just about every single clue and answer by heart.
Uh-huh.
That's how many times I went over it.
Oh my.
And I'm like, it has to be something that I think is right, but isn't, because everything that, I looked at various places where I was a little bit unsure, and was able to convince myself, like 63 across, salt and pepper hit with a refrain, blank, blank, badoop. I had shoop. And I was like, could it be anything other than shoop? I wasn't unsure about that last P.
Right.
Or, let's see, where are some other places? One of my Achilles heels, the spelling of octopi, for that matter, for the spelling of octopus.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I think it's OCTOPI. 119 across, that second O ran into, hard to say. And I was like, is it oh, I don't know, or I don't know, or I don't know. I don't know if listeners could hear all the different vowels I was going through there, but it was an O. I don't know.
Uh-huh. So
in any event, I went through the whole crossword, and finally I'm like looking at a nobo, and I'm like, vaguely, I had the sense that, as I weigh the N versus the D, I thought, there might be something called adobo. And that's where I finally got the happy music.
Okay, very good.
So, in any event, that's my lament.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure nobody else had this problem. Because I like the phrase, that's a dough-brainer. I mean, that made sense more than a dough-braider.
Why? Because a brainer? It's a dough-brainer?
If I had a brain, I'd be able to answer that question. Anyway, so I found this to be an extremely challenging Sunday crossword. But still, go ahead, ask me any clue. Give me a clue number across or down, and I will tell you what it is.
Okay, how about 50 across? Which is biblical king of Judea.
Herod.
That is correct.
I mean, I know all the other answers because I've been over them so many times.
Uh-huh.
But I was doubting myself in so many places. 47 down, you have a face for radio for one was dis, D-I-S-S.
Right.
And I'm like, maybe it's des. And, but I'd get a grip and say, no, it's dis. Even though I wasn't sure about Spice Girl Halliwell.
That is Jerry.
Jerry, G-E-R-I. But it's like, that sounds right.
I thought 37 across was kind of stereotyping. Having a studious appearance. Owlish.
Yes.
I guess I've known people that are very studious, but they do not look owlish.
Well, everyone who I know who's studious actually is an owl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go to our library and there are no people, they're just owls.
Uh-huh.
Another place where I was having trouble convincing myself that it was right, but all of the crosses looked rock solid. 74 across, actress McDonald, Audra.
Audra, yes.
And it's just like, I wanted it to be like Audrey, which would mean that 75 down, about 40% of a hectare was going to be a wicra as opposed to an acre. And I'm like, get a grip again. There's no such thing as a wicra. When you start to have self-doubts like this, it can be very distressing. But anyways, I always like to go back when I'm stuck at a moment like this and sort of wander the back 40 wicras.
Yeah. Wicras.
The wicras.
83 down was a complicated clue, but it was actually a simple answer. Country that becomes a language if you remove the last letter.
Mm-hmm.
Laos.
Right.
And the language there is Lao. So.
I had all the crosses, though, and they felt pretty rock solid to me. I did like, going back to the theme clues, 80 across, Stevedore's complaint, it's a hard dock life. I have to like burst into song whenever I hear that phrase. It's just so, I think it's the Carol Burnett version of that musical that really just sticks with me.
I see.
It's a hard dock life. See, I was unable to resist. Mm-hmm. Let's see. 34 down, one of the longer clues, and answers rather, caption for an absent student say was not pictured.
Yes.
I thought that was good.
I thought that was funny, yes.
85 across, champagne specification was brut, B-R-U-T.
That's correct.
I think we just had that, didn't we?
I can't remember.
I feel fairly confident that it showed up just a few days ago, if that, which is why when I was looking at, let's see here, all right, it showed up today and in November of 2023. It must have been it must have been a clue or something, because
there was
I think it was
a clue about rye.
About something about the Scottish and the peaty.
There was peaty, yes, but I don't remember brute. But anyway,
I could have sworn. Let's see. I'm going to search through the clues and look to see the last time that brute appeared. Nope, that was March 17th. All right, I just hallucinated the appearance of the word brute, but I looked at that and said, "Oh, I know that."
Wow.
The champagne specification being brute. From somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, but then 78 down, knitting stitch, pearl. And I remember that from the crossword. But I'm having so much trouble. Maybe it's Brett and Pearl as opposed to brute and Pearl, with a U.
Nope, Pearl is correct.
Yep.
P-U-R-L.
106 across, Jim Rat's focus. I had bod, and I thought that has to be right. But then... 94 down, one of the Starks on Game of Thrones, Robb, R-O-B-B. And I thought, I think that's right. Mm-hmm. But maybe I'm wrong about both Robb and bod. So I'm going through the letters trying to think, what else could a Jim Rat be worried about? God? I don't know. But then it would be Rogb. Mm-hmm. So, yep. I will be very glad to put this crossword behind me.
Mm-hmm. I thought 36 down was kind of funny. Official okays, say-sos.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about at least official as you can get. Why? I say so.
No. It's like you need the say-so from side. I don't know. It sounds okay to me. On the other hand...
I thought that was funny to call it official. I mean, it's like... I don't know. I was thinking like an edict or something.
Oh, I see.
Something legal, official,
Got it.
Something on paper, not a I say so.
We had 12 down, something spelled S-U-M thing, and that was plus. Mm-hmm. That was sort of mildly amusing. Mm-hmm. Yep. Kosher, 18 down, was allowed.
Yes.
I was thinking it was going to be like there was an L in there, and I was thinking it was going to be like halal, which of course is sort of the Muslim equivalent of kosher. Mm-hmm. But it was all allowed.
Yeah, I thought it was all okay.
Right.
Or something, but because when you say something's kosher, it's like, oh, well, that means it's okay, but officially it means allowed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, 3 down was no worries. That was it's okay.
Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I like 118 across, out the blank, out the wazoo.
Yes. Is wazoo a real word?
It's in the New York Times. It must be.
I'm going to try it in Wordle tomorrow. That's going to be my first word. Wazoo.
Really? You would sacrifice a Z for that? They never use Zs in there. Let's see. Trying to think what else. Oh, I could say at this point, I don't know, because that's 119 across. Supporter of the arts, 122 across was pedestal.
Yes.
I was going for, I was thinking tripod and then...
Yeah, I thought easel, but I found too many squares there.
Yep.
But pedestal works too.
And then 127 across spreadsheet button. And I'm thinking, in Excel, there's like a million possible answers. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it was sort.
That's right.
And that O ran into the now famous national dish of the Philippines, adobo, which is...
I think maybe we should try some adobo tomorrow.
I'd like to know what's in it first.
It's your turn to cook.
To know if it's vegetarian or not. That's going to be the first thing I check. Lack of energy, 81 down, was anemia.
Yes.
I was going for like lethargic.
I had anemic because lack of energy. It's a modifier. You have lack.
Yeah.
But it was anemia.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I mean, as a noun, it would work. You're not. Lack of energy isn't saying that it's an adjective, right? It could. I mean, clearly they're saying anemia. They're saying it's a noun.
Well, it's a descriptor. Somebody has a lack of energy.
Well, there you're. I mean, they've got just 3 letters in the phrase, right? Lack of energy. Mm-hmm. So you could say. At least I think you could say lack of energy as an adjective, and it sounds like it should be an adjective, but
it could be a noun too.
You just sort of have to somehow stop thinking adjectively.
Uh-huh.
Yes. We're going to have to get that out of the mix. And let's see. Oh, one last one. 89 down. Frosting alternative was fondant.
Fondant.
And there's a comedian who has passed away, and I'm trying to remember his name now. It's John. It's not John Candy. It's someone who passed away more recently. Blast. Sort of a somewhat overweight person, and eating was sort of like a big part of his comedy. Uh-huh. But he was talking about fondant, and he had a good routine about it. And I remembered the word, and was able to deploy it here. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that is it for today, I think.
Okay.
So thanks, everyone, for listening. Hope you are enjoying these podcasts. Please tell everyone you know about this podcast so that it can, maybe go viral and maybe have like millions of people listen to it.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
It would be. But regardless, we will be here tomorrow to talk about tomorrow's crossword, and we hope you'll join us then.
Yep. Bye-bye.